Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So guys, the wait is over now. Previously I made a machine learning roadmap video where I have explained you all in detail what are the programming languages and what all you should learn, the skills required to become a machine learning engineer, statistics, how much you have to learn and how much of the machine learning you should know and what are the libraries you require to learn that. Everything I have explained in detail in that particular roadmap. By seeing that particular video, many of them have requested me to make the video for data analysis also, a roadmap for data analyst. So in this particular video, I'll be explaining you all in detail about the skills and the topics you should cover to become a data analyst and what are the key factors you should concentrate on to become a data analyst, and the programming languages require everything. So we'll be discussing in detail. Let's dive into the computer screen and discuss more about that. Before that, I want to say you all like, what does the data analyst mainly do? So guys, the work of the data analyst is mainly to analyze the data. So many companies, software companies or any companies, they will definitely have the data, huge data. So the work of the data analyst is to analyze the data and provide the insights out of it. So I guess many of them, those who are beginners, they don't know like what is insights or anything. Let me just explain you all with the help of example. For example, a company, let us take Coca-Cola company only. So the work of a data analyst in that company is that they'll be having the sales data. So Coca-Cola, you can say like any Coca-Cola they have sold in many places. So they'll be having the data like at this area I have sold this many Coca-Cola and this area I have sold this many. So they'll be maintaining the record like at each area how much data, how much of the products they have sold, they'll be having the data related to that. So the work of the data analyst will be like every month they have to analyze like every year whether there is the sales increasing or else the sales is decreasing, or even they will be analyzing monthly also. So in this area why the sales it's decreasing, whether they are not liking the quality or they require to improve something, or they have to provide some discounts, 20% discount, 5% discount, or else extra 5%. These companies will be providing some discounts or else extra 5% something they'll be providing, right? So they'll be, the work of the data analyst or else the business analyst is to check like whether they have to update something in that particular area, why they are getting losses, or is there any competition in that particular area. So the main work of this particular data analyst is to create the reports on that and submit that to the team, and the team will have a look on that and they will verify and they'll get to know like what they have to do, how can they overcome that particular problem in that particular situation. This is the main work of a data analyst. So now let us dive into the computer screen and discuss about the skills required to become a data analyst. So guys, this is the roadmap which I was speaking you all about. So there are mainly 6 key skills you should learn to become a data analyst. I have even created each and every topic you should cover in that particular skill or else in that particular programming language, each and every topic which is important, which you should cover to become a data analyst. So I'll be discussing about that in detail. So now let's start the video. First, let us go with the databases. So if you see the databases, there are mainly 2 databases important when it comes to the data analyst or data scientist or even a machine learning engineer. They should know this 2 databases definitely. So one is structured database and second one is unstructured database. When it comes to structured database, it is MySQL. Unstructured database is nothing but MongoDB. So first let us see about MongoDB, then we'll check about MySQL because MySQL is huge. So when it comes to MongoDB, you can see here MongoDB is nothing but it handles the unstructured BSON data. Many of them thinks that is JSON, but it is not the JSON format. It is in BSON format. It even supports JSON. So many of the developers or programmers who are checking MongoDB data for first time, they get confused that it's JSON format. So when it comes to MongoDB, you can see creating the database, inserting, comparing, query operations, what you can perform, even aggregation functions you can perform in this. So updating the data and inserting one or many collections, deleting about that. And mainly you should know about this MongoDB Compass and Atlas. MongoDB mainly works on cloud. And there is something, the apps like MongoDB Compass and Atlas, these are GUI apps, graphical user interface apps. So using MongoDB Compass, you can access it directly using that particular application. You don't need to write any code or else write any command also. It's a GUI application. By just clicking like how you normally use your Instagram or Facebook. Like that you can easily clicks, creating the clicks, and using that you can handle it. And when it comes to Atlas, this is a cloud-based MongoDB's storage where you can store the data. So you should know about these things in detail. I have already created a detailed video about MongoDB. Playlist is available in my channel. You can have a look on that. That particular playlist link will be in this video description. So now let's continue further. That's all in MongoDB, nothing more is there. When it comes to MySQL, there are many things, topics to cover. So first let us go with basics. And MySQL is important for you all in the point of interview also, because when it comes to data analyst, mainly they will be asking questions related to MySQL. 75% the questions will be on MySQL only. So you should know about that. You should be able to write the queries in MySQL, whatever queries they'll be asking in the interviews. So the first topic is to create, select, show, copy and drop database. Basic, creating the database, selecting that particular database, show, copy and drop the database. How can you copy the database? So these things you should learn, these topics. Once you know these basic operations, then you will be having something called as queries, which is nothing but insert, update, delete and select. Once you know all this, how to insert the data, how to update the data, how to delete the data, then you can get into something called as operations and tables, which is nothing but creating, altering, performing the operations, altering the data, showing the data and renaming the data, checking the truncate data, I hope I am spelling it correctly, or dropping the data. So these things you have to mainly concentrate very well. After this, indexes. When it comes to indexes, create, drop, show, and you will be dealing it with the help of indexes, unique, cluster, everything. So guys, and when it comes to this particular roadmap which you are seeing, right, this roadmap will be available for you all. I'll be providing the this roadmap link in this video description. You can have a look on that roadmap and everyone can use it for free. And when it comes to this flow functions, you can see the next topic is nothing but flow functions. In this, you will be dealing with if null, null if, case. You will be dealing with all these operations, whether to check if it is null or not, or if there is any data or not. Like this, you will be dealing with these functions. And once this is done, you will be having something called as MySQL conditions, like and condition, and or boolean, exist, not equal to. Like if like we'll be having some conditions like whether a is not equal to b, we'll be writing in programming Python program some conditions. If a is not equal to b, then print it is false, else if it is equal to b, then print true. So something like this will be creating some conditions, right? So like that, in the same way you can create the conditions here. If you know any programming language, if you have executed in any other programming languages further about the if statements, conditional statements, then this is also something same like that. So once this is done, you will be entering into MySQL joins, left join, right join. Joins are important. They'll be asking you in the interviews. Inner join, what does outer join do, everything. So remember about this. And once these joins are done, actually from these joins, everything you should remember properly, and you have to make a note of whatever you are reading. So whatever you are reading, whatever theoretically you are writing, you can make a note of that. And when it comes to the programming, you can use Notion. There is an application or a website called as Notion. It is available both application and website, where you can create the notes. It's for free only. You can create your notes like whatever you will be writing, so that it will be easy for you all to revise. When you write yourself, you will understand. If you just see the videos and learn, or else if you just refer somewhere, again you will forget. But when you make a note of that in detail at where you know, whenever you feel it's difficult, or else if you don't know that function, again you can come back and you can see that. It will be very helpful for you all. So just whatever you are reading, right, make a note of that. When it comes to this joins, after joins you should see MySQL keys, like unique keys, what are primary keys, what are foreign keys, and what are these composite keys, everything. So you have to, from after joins, everything is important. You have to make a note of that, and you have to read it in the interview point, not normally. like how you normally read about them and just make 2 3 lines, right? Don't do that. When it comes from here, write clearly in detail each and every word, which will be very helpful for you in the interview. Don't miss them. So once this MySQL keys are done, then you have to go for aggregation functions like count, sum of the numbers, average, mean, max, first, last, and even you can see the group concatenation. How can you do that? Everything. So these are your basics. You have to cover all these basics. When it comes to MySQL documentation is very good, or else you can refer some YouTube channels related to MySQL. I'll check about the YouTube channel from where you can learn MySQL. Even I'm planning to start the MySQL playlist, but when I'll be starting, I'll announcing you all. But before that, if you want to learn, I'll be providing you the playlist videos link in this video description. You can have a look on that MySQL playlist and you can learn all this from there. So let me close this. And after this, once the basics is done, now let's go with advanced functions. So when it comes to advanced, these are definitely important for your interviews. Triggers, views, indexes, cursor, and store procedures functions and temporary tables. How can you do window functions? Window function is definitely important. Window function and this triggers and store procedures. They will be asking you in every interviews. You have to be proper in this particular three topics mainly. So that's all guys. When you cover all this, that means that you are done with MySQL. Approximately to learn MySQL only you will take 1.5 month to learn, to work on all this and to understand the syntax and everything. It will easily take 1.5 month to 2 months also. But if you learn this, it will be good. But when it comes to MongoDB, it will take for you all approx 10 to 15 days, not more than that. When you are doing some advanced operations in MongoDB, you have to perform it on cloud. About that, the companies will give you the training, don't worry. So when it comes to the MongoDB, because it's cloud, right? And it is also difficult, but to learn all these basic operations and everything, MongoDB is easy because it's unstructured data, right? You can learn fast. So that's all. The first skill is done. Database is done. If you cover these both databases very well, you're good to go for the interview. There are even many other databases like Cassandra, DynamoDB, MariaDB. All these databases are important, but many companies don't work on this. Rarely some companies work on that. When they are working on that, they'll be asking you questions related to that. So the databases is done. Now let us see the programming. So when it comes to data analysis, programming means Python. Without Python, you cannot do anything. So, but for Python, you don't need that much depth in this. Don't worry. How much you need for data scientist, that much is not required. But you should know Python very well. So when it comes to basics, you can see here variables and data types you should know, operations and control flow, operators and control flows, loops and condition statements. These are basics. So data types int, char, float, operators plus, minus, whatever operations you will be doing, right? That loops and conditions, if else, elif, all this you should know very well. So about this, I have already created a playlist. Complete Python playlist is available in my channel. You can have a look on that. Or else if you all want me to start a live session related to Python, then comment this video below that you want to a live session. Based on your comments, I'll definitely start a live sessions on every Saturday and Sunday so that we can complete the Python well. So based on your comments, I'll announce you all about the live community session which will be starting very soon. So once the basics is done, then you can have a look on the data structures, which are nothing but list, tuples, dictionaries and sets. These all are the different structures to write the data and store the data. So you have to have a look on these structures. These all are also already covered in my channel. You can have a look on them. So once this is done, you will be entering into the OOPS concept. OOPS concept is recommended to the data analyst, but not that much. If you know this, it will be plus point. You should know until the data structures and you should be able to analyze the data. So these all OOPS concept and everything, when it comes to the fresher, it's not that recommended, but you should know about them. Classes and objects, inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, everything. These are advanced concepts, advanced hoops concepts. You should know about them. After this, file handling methods like read mode, write mode, append. So this is definitely file handling. You should know it because you will be working on analyzing the data, right? So you'll be reading the data, writing the data, and many operations you will be performing. You will be converting the data. So you should know this read, write, append mode and everything. After this, exception handling and debugging, this is recommended for the experienced candidate. But when it comes to data analyst, normal interview, how it goes, many companies will ask you in the theoretical round about Python, SQL and everything. But when it comes to the coding round, they'll mainly focus on MySQL. And rarely some companies focus on analyzing the data, and they'll be even giving you all about pandas group by all these things. They'll be working on it. Exception handling and debugging, like how to handle the exceptions in the code and how to debug the code, you will be learning about this in detail. So once this is done, functional programming, which is nothing but lambda is nothing but a lazy function, how you can write the lazy function, how to write the map function, filter function, reduce function. So you will be learning about all this in detail. So guys, if you all want me to teach this, then definitely I want you all to comment below this video. Based on your comments, I'll definitely start the session for you all, Python community session. So once these are done, then here comes our heroes, which are nothing but the libraries of Python. Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, there are many libraries. This Matplotlib, Seaborn and PyPlot, PairPlot, all these are visualization tools. You should know all this. Pandas and NumPy you should definitely know. On Pandas and NumPy I have created a separate dedicated video for you all, and those both libraries video will be in this video description. You can have a look on that and you will be learning about them in detail. You need all this because you will be performing EDA, which is nothing but exploratory data analysis, for analyzing the data using pandas and Python. So you should know all this, and there are many other libraries also. I have not listed here, but there are thousands and thousands of libraries which you will be using according to your work. Based on your work, you have to read about them and you have to definitely work with them. At that time you can learn. You don't need to learn everything now itself. So once the libraries are done, then it comes with the frameworks. So these frameworks are not recommended to the data analyst. It's fine, you can ignore about these frameworks. I'll delete these frameworks if possible. I'll delete this later. Now let's dive into our next topic. So guys, now let's continue further with the next, which is nothing but statistics. Before that guys, I have an important announcement for you all. So guys, this is my TopMate profile where I am providing you all the personal guidance and one-to-one mentorship and everything, review and everything. You can have a look on this and you can definitely raise a request for me in TopMate, where I'll be personally connecting with you all and I'll be providing you all guidance on this. When it comes to this, I am providing you all a special discount. You can see this data science. So you can see this data science and analysis combo mentorship. So you can enroll for this if you are interested in this, because in this I will be providing all these topics whichever is available here. LinkedIn profile review, GitHub profile review, concepts and notes. Some notes also I'll be providing you all. So guys, if you are interested with this, then definitely you can enroll for this. This particular TopMate link will be in this video description. And also I have an offer for you all. So it is not going to be this much. From this again, I'll be providing you all 20% discount. Whoever is seeing this particular video, you can enroll to me. The discount coupon will be mentioned in this video description. You can use that and you can enroll to this particular TopMate link. Using this you can enroll and buy the package, and I'll definitely help you all learn better and you can crack the job easily. So now let's continue further with the data analysis roadmap. So you can see a statistics. So when it comes to statistics, these all are the topics you should know very well. You can see here hypothesis testing, confidence interval, regression analysis. All these things you should know. Testing and analysis techniques you should know. And probability like Gaussian distribution, uniform distribution, binomial distribution. About all these distributions you should know. Testings when it comes to testings, t-test, chi-square test, ANOVA test, f-test. So you should know all these testing techniques. So these all are like these all this whatever you are reading about the statistics, right? You will not be doing any mathematically. Don't worry, you will not be working mathematically and solving the problems. You should know the behind maths and whatever testing I am talking about, chi-square test, ANOVA test. For everything in Python, the libraries are already available. You can use that libraries and within seconds, the Python programming language will perform the calculation for you all. You don't need to remember the mathematical and practical implementation, but you should definitely know that how you are going to do it. That's all. And when it comes to correlation and regression, in correlation, you have something called as correlation analysis. And in regression you have regression analysis, how you can do find the correlation, how you can find the regression in between them. About all this you should know. And finally, when it comes to this sampling methods, you should know the sampling methods. These are definitely recommended. Random sampling, how you can do, stratified sampling, how you can do, clustering sampling, how you can do. These all are required. You have to definitely learn them. But as I told you all, you don't need to remember them. You already have a Python library which is going to work for this. So once you learn the statistics very well, then almost you can think that you can easily crack the job. But definitely there are some other things also recommended for you all, which is nothing but this version control tools. This is definitely important for any IT employee who is working, whether it's a software developer or a data scientist or an analyst or a data enthusiast or a student who is entering into this particular IT field. They definitely should know about this version controlling tools, which is nothing but Git, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and SourceTree. But in this, the main two famous things are this Git and GitHub. They should definitely know about them. Many interviewers will definitely ask the questions about this Git and GitHub. If you know about them, you can easily answer and you can easily get the job. These are mainly used for to push your code into this particular Git and GitHub and maintain the code and use it whenever you want. You can share it with everyone. So if you all are interested to learn Git and GitHub properly, then you can raise a request. In essence, you can comment below this particular video only. I'll definitely make the playlist of Git and GitHub, or else we'll definitely make a dedicated video, live dedicated video for you all. So guys, once these version control tools you should definitely learn. It will not take much time to learn version control tools. It will not take more than 10 to 15 days, because these all are nothing but a small just 3 to 4 sentence commands only you will be using. But you should know what that particular command is using or it's doing. I hope this particular roadmap is interesting for you all, and I know many of them might have felt it difficult by seeing all these topics only. Don't worry, you can easily learn. When you start learning, you can easily complete data analysis topics within 4 months. If you keep the deadline of 4 months and if you work for 4 months and if you give at least per day 2 to 3 hours also, you can easily complete within 4 months and 2 months for project. Totally 6 months to become a data analyst. If you want the high package and if you want to be in the number one position, then you have to definitely work hard, or else it's difficult. Now let's dive into the next step, which is nothing but analysis tools. So when it comes to analysis tools, you will be having the two famous tools, which are nothing but Power BI and Tableau. So when it comes to these tools, right, you will be not doing anything programmatically. Don't worry. Everything is like, if you have learned Excel, everything will look somewhat similar like Excel, but you will be using charts and graphs. When it comes to the companies also, you will be working mainly in these tools and SQL databases. Those programming and databases, everything are for data only. But to show them visually, to tell the story in story format, explain your visual reports in story format. By seeing them, they should get to know what you are doing, and it should be like storytelling. So to know about that visually, you will be using Power BI and Tableau only more. So when it comes to Power BI, what all you will be learning, see, Power BI setup and basics you will be learning, and you will be seeing how you can generate reports using Power BI, how to do graphs and visualizations in Power BI. Then DAX functions and formulas you will be learning in Power BI. After this all, there is something called as Power BI Query Editor. You will be learning how to write queries and do editing there. Editing in essence, query edits, how you can perform that. So these are the things you should you should cover in Power BI. Power BI also, it will not take more time. It's all about, when it comes to Power BI and Tableau, it's all about your representation, how you are going to represent your charts, and how visually, how attractive you are going to represent, that represents. Even the color coding, what you will be selecting the colors, right, when it comes to the chart, that also matters. Okay. So when it comes to Tableau, so in Tableau, you should know the Tableau basics, which are nothing but how to get the data and what are the different formats and everything. You have to learn about them, and aggregation and filtering functions in Tableau. What is blending and relationship in Tableau, and how can you overcome them, and graphs and visualization, how to create the dashboards, and storytelling, how you can create the dashboards in such a way that it should be like storytelling. So when it comes to data analyst job, right, how it will be, like if you show them that reports, whatever reports you have done, by seeing that only they should get to know. Your work should speak, not you cannot explain them. Your work should mainly speak. Like by seeing that only they should get to know, okay, at this particular point I got loss, at this particular point I got profit. That graphically it should be. Even you should explain it, but your graphs matters more. So once the Tableau is done, right, Excel. So Excel is recommended, but not that much. But if a fresher, then they should definitely know Excel. Excel basics, and you should know how to work with Excel, the Excel formulas, conditional and logical operations, how you can perform in Excel, and lookups and reference functions, how to deal with text and date functions, and what are pivot tables and charts, about how to work with the charts. Even you can perform graphical visualizations in Excel also. You have to know about all these things in detail. So these all are the analysis tools which are recommended. But in this, if you are a fresher, right, I would recommend you all to go with Power BI, because Tableau is paid, and you cannot, if it's not recommended that much to learn Tableau also. But Tableau is good. You can learn about Tableau and you can work with Tableau when you go to the industry. But if you are a student, then Power BI is free from Microsoft. You can learn Power BI. So guys, that's all. If you know all this, then it's done. But one more skill is definitely important for everyone. So I'll show you all the last skill also, which is nothing but soft skills. If you know all those, and if you are not able to clear the interview, means you should improve your communication. Your communication plays a key role, and your confidence. So these all things you are lying behind. You have to improve them also. So when it comes to the soft skills for data analyst, right, understanding the data, they should definitely know how to understand the data, and how can you create the insights from that, where which particular column is useful for you, which is not useful, and why it is not useful, how can you make it useful. You should work on that. And problem solving skills, how you can overcome the loss. You should be even the analysis reports you'll be creating, right, you should even try to uh, think in the business point of view, how you can solve the issues, how can you overcome that particular problem with some solution. So these are the things. When it comes to the data analyst, right, they are right now high demanded. So based on their works and based on their charts and analysis, right, so they can easily understand, they can easily work, and they can easily explain to the CEOs or top directors, right. Based on their explanation and everything, many of them even get rewards, because so much scope is there for data analyst. But you should learn, and if you have the skills, you can definitely get the job. If that relevant skills are not there, then you cannot get the job so easily. You have to work hard on your drawbacks mainly. So after this, you have to look for better approach. So for example, if you have some approach, then your director is going to tell you some other approach. You have to think which is better approach. In that multiple approaches, you have to think which can be the better approach, which is going to save the money to the company or save the resources to the company. So based on that, you have to come up with some better ideas. So based on that, you will be rewarded. After this, the confidence. Confidence definitely plays a key role for a data analyst, because whatever reports they will be creating, right? Creating is a 60 to 70%, but understanding data and explaining the data, and based on the reports, explaining that reports visually and explaining to the directors in the conference room, that is definitely important, and you should definitely know how to do that. So this is important. So for that, you should be confident. If you're not that confident, if your confidence is not that much in a sense, you should not be even overconfidence also. Confident. Whatever you are telling, you have to try to tell it correctly only. So guys, that's all. If you know all this, you will be easily able to become a data analyst within 6 months. I hope you all like this particular video and it is informative to you all. If you all like this, do like, share and subscribe the channel, and share this particular roadmap video to your friend who is planning to become a data analyst. So thank you guys. Bye bye.